So, hi everyone. Today we have a very special guest on our channel. We have Shivam with us. So, Shivam, would you like to introduce yourself once?
Hi everyone. My name is Shivam Mustaria, and I'm currently pursuing my BTech from DJ Sangvi College of Engineering in Mumbai. I'd like to keep this short. So I've also won 14 hackathons. So this is what we'll be talking about today, I guess. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. So, like you guys can see, he has won 14 hackathons, which is a pretty big deal for anyone to do, right? Winning one or two hackathons itself is a big deal, and he is here won 14 hackathons, and we'll be getting to know his entire journey to, cracking and winning all of these hackathons, and we'll also be telling you how you can win any hackathon that you come across. So, before we go into winning the hackathons, can you once tell us a bit about why hackathons? Because a lot of people go into other things, but not a lot of people go into hackathons. They don't know the benefits of it. So, can you tell us what all are the benefits of hackathons that you have gotten or that other people can get?
Fair enough. I've actually seen many people who are, really afraid to take part into hackathons. They really hesitate a
Hmm.
lot. Okay, I'd like to say, so personally speaking, for me, hackathons were, my ticket to tech. So getting into tech for me was basically just via hackathons. So I don't think so many of people around me also know this. There's only a few people who know this. So I had pursued a diploma rather than 11, 12, and then a BTech degree. For me, it was a diploma, 3-year diploma, and then a 3-year degree. And my diploma was in EXTC. So I wasn't really, aware of so much tech. I barely knew just C++. And then I switched my branch to comps as soon as I went to the degree, and it was a direct second year entry. So that is where I kind of started getting the FOMO because I used to see people around me developing websites, making apps, and I was just an AXTC graduate who was just wondering what to do with his life. So that is where I actually, stumbled upon these posters. So our college is very well renowned in Mumbai for hosting a lot of hackathons. So I just stumbled upon a poster and I happened to ask my friends like, can we participate into this? I did not know anything. I was just still, learning things. I was learning Python, I remember at that time. So I just asked my friends like, can we just go for this? So my friends were like, okay. So yeah, I guess yeah, that is what made me start getting into hackathons. And I realized this now that it's been more than 2.5 years of attending hackathons. There are a lot of benefits for everyone out there, I feel. So firstly, you get to build a good network, very good network, because you meet and interact with a lot of people during hackathon. So like even if you just get to the main 24-hour hackathon final rounds or the second last rounds, you get to interact with so many people. You get to see so many cool projects out there, and you never know. And even building a team. So if you're going with your friends, the bond really it gets better and better once you start attending it because you spend 24 hours with people around you. You start gelling up with them. That is one good thing as well. Then you get good opportunities as well after attending hackathons. This is, I guess, the most premium benefit, I would say, for me as well. I remember I got an internship. So last year I was interning at Here Technologies, which was all because of the Here Hackathon, which I had attended at IIT Bombay. So that was my ticket to the internship as well. And other than this, you get to network, so many cool prizes as well. You get money. Fair enough. If you win, you get money. So peak benefit and good money, yeah. So that is one peak benefit as well. But to be honest, most important for me would be, having good friends around. You get good connections. That is, I guess, nothing beats that part for me. So I would say, yeah, that is the most important reason why I used to attend hackathons. So yes, and also I actually forgot to mention, yeah, you get to learn. You get to learn a lot, a lot. Maybe it on the fly. You get to learn front end, back end, anything you want because during those 24 hours, you start working on each and everything. It's like a startup where you have to work on this, you have to work a bit on that as well. So the learning process is very cool. So yeah.
Correct, correct. I totally agree. And I always say this to the people watching my videos, right? Making a self project on your own time will never have the same impact as making a project in a hackathon. The amount of stuff you'll be learning, you'll be doing, the amount of struggles that you'll be facing, that learning will be much, much better than, taking 1 month to build a self paced project, right? That is why hackathon projects are always way more valuable and give a different shine to your resume as well. If you put in your resume that you have won certain hackathons, that will also amplify your resume and also increase the chances of getting shortlisted, right?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I completely agree with that.
Huh. All right. So, speaking more on that, you have taken part in 14 hackathons. So, I want to know what has been your most memorable part of a hackathon? What has been your most memorable experience so far?
Speaking of my memorable experience, this happened actually in Pune last year, September.
Uh-huh.
So we were attending this Bajaj Hacker X 5.0. So this is a hackathon organized by Bajaj Finserv. So I remember going with my college mates. So funny experience, I would say, a really memorable one for me as well. So this was where one of our teammates had his birthday as well, and I remember we got three times. So we had a penalty. So basically they had a leaderboard where after every round you get certain points, and then you are ranked. So after each and every round you get to see the standings of where all the teams are, which team is first, what standing are you on. So basically, kind of they were actually trying to build that pressure on each and every team. And I remember after every round, we were at first, but then for some reason or the other, we were getting negative. We were getting penalty points. We were leaving our desks continuously. We just went out to roam. All of us just went out to get a walk. And at night as well, at 12 o'clock, we wanted to cut our friend's cake as well. So we actually did not inform anyone. We just directly went down. We spent like half an hour down there. And the moment we come up, we are like, everyone is like, where were you all? What were you all doing? This and that. We got yelled as well by the organizers since we just did not inform anyone and just left for the cake. We did explain it was his birthday, but couldn't reduce the penalty. So after every round we were getting a penalty. So for some or the other reason, be it for making too much noise, be it being very chit chatty, uh, and for the cake cutting as well, going out here and there. And even at the start of the hackathon, two of our members were that was one of them was me, and I had one friend with me. So the hackathon started around 11, and me and my friend we joined the venue at 11:30 from the hotel. So another yelling. So we got a -1 for that as well. So those were, I guess, the most memorable parts, and also the services provided by them were actually pretty cool as well. So we had to go to Pune, so they had given us hotels, the stay, the food, the entire experience was very well, and they had organized the event in a very meticulous manner. I feel, yeah. So I feel, yeah, that has to be the most memorable hackathon for me. And because at the end of the day, even after getting so many penalty points, this and that, we came out on top. We were first in that hackathon, so most memorable for me.
That is pretty amazing. That is one of the benefits as well. Imagine people spend so much money going on trips and then going all doing all of these things. Imagine going to a hackathon with your friends. You're getting free food, you're getting free accommodation, and most of the times, if you win, you're getting a lot of money. So it's like learning and then doing all of these things with your friends. So it is genuinely a great experience that I feel everyone should go for, right?
It's like a mini trip most of the times I feel.
Huh.
Because I remember we were at one point we were just registering for hackathons which are out of Mumbai so that we can get on to go to trips as well. So we used to go to Chennai, we used to go to Bangalore, we used to go to Delhi, here and there, just so that we can have a
Right.
trip as well. And if we are lucky, we could get the hackathon as well. So compensated there as well.
Amazing, amazing. All right, and other thing is that parents को convince नहीं करना पड़ता है because what
हाँ.
parent will stop you from going for a hackathon?
फिर
है
भी
ना?
हैकाथन के लिए जा रहा है बच्चा, नो इश्यू, काम के लिए जा रहा है, इसके लिए जा रहा है, बट देन ट्रिप, नो, ट्रिप इज नॉट अलाउड. I guess it was my first night out, I guess. Yeah, I was 21 years old. I had never had a night out. But the moment I told my dad that this is a competition where I have to be 24 hours out of home, he was like, okay, no issue. Otherwise, I've never got a permission for a night out. Up until now, I'm 22 years old now, and he still doesn't let me go for a night out. But for hackathons, he's be like, he's used to it now. I'm be like, I won't be home at the weekend. He's like, okay, hackathon. I'm like, yes. Like, okay, jao.
राइट उसमें फिर कन्विंस नहीं करना पड़ता है ना ऑटोमेटिकली पेरेंट्स है लाइक
ये
काम की
तो
बात है पढ़ाई की चीज है गो
हाँ, पढ़ाई की चीज़ के लिए they will never back down. They're like, अच्छा है, बच्चा कुछ अच्छा कर
हाँ
रहा है. Like, fair.
हम्म Right, right, right. All right. So speaking more in this direction, I feel एक hesitation बहुत लोग का hackathon में जाने के लिए होता है क्योंकि उनके पास टीम नहीं होती है. They're like कि यार मैं तो चला जाऊं but they don't have a team for going, and most of the hackathons require a team. They require 3 to 5 members or even more members. So I want to know like, how can someone find a team, or better yet, how did you find a team that, you took for hackathons?
Hmm. I guess, yeah, I've seen many people thinking about this. Ki, yaar, we do not have a good team. We do not have good
Hmm.
members around me. I remember receiving a lot of messages on LinkedIn as well regarding this. Ki, if I'm going for a hackathon, how should I build my team, etc., etc. So, personally speaking, so for me, I just asked my friends out of nowhere because for me, we were all diploma graduates, so we had our own group, a 5 people group, and for me, they were the ones who knew the most because I used to see them develop things as well. So I knew if I go with them, I'll get to learn as well, and if all things go well, we can win as well because I had a good amount of faith in them. So that is where I just directly approached my friends, like, can we go for this? And after that, we did not stop. It was that particular core that we used to go, and even if there was some shuffle in the teammates as well, but yeah, it was mostly my college friends as well. So I guess for in order to advise people regarding this as well, firstly, don't start looking for a team like I need a front end developer, I need a back end developer, I need someone who can handle dev, I need someone who can handle cloud part, this part, etc., etc. Rather than this, I would suggest you take your friends because at the end of the day, you will be spending 24 hours there. You don't want people with whom you cannot even, you cannot even talk to, or maybe you aren't gelling up with them, or maybe someone random out of nowhere, because you need to make sure 24 hours goes smoothly, because that is for if you're going with your friends, 24 hours you'll be either developing or you'll be laughing the entire time. So it's either of those two, or you'll be sleeping. Yeah, three of them. It's just all three things you will be doing. So I would suggest go with your friends, but if the stakes are high, maybe you're going for a very prestigious hackathon, maybe the smart India hackathon, I would say. So that is when maybe you have to start looking for your teammates. So firstly, look into your network, look into your classroom. Obviously, you all are college students if you're participating in hackathons. Firstly, take a quick scan of your classroom itself. Firstly, try to see if you know people who actually could do good development. Because I've seen many people who might be, uh, they might be very sharp, they might be very knowledgeable, but when it comes to development, they might not be able to portray the skills well enough as well. So, and one more thing you'll have to consider is, can they develop it in the given deadline? Because there are people who can take time, they can take a week in order to develop a good solution, but you need someone who can work in those 24 hours for you and give you a viable solution at that time as well. So look into your network firstly. Maybe if you've seen people who have already won hackathons, you can maybe start approaching them on LinkedIn, because my juniors did that as well. So one of my junior, he just directly approached me like, can we go for hackathon, this. I was like, yeah, because even our teachers advised at a certain point, they were like, okay, now that you have won so many hackathons, why don't you start taking your juniors along with you as well, so that even they get to experience the hackathon, they get the hackathon experience as well, and maybe you can mentor them as well simultaneously. So for the seniors, I would suggest you start taking your juniors rather than going with your same team again and again. And for the juniors, I would say start approaching your seniors if there's a space for a single person, because they mostly have a 3 people core and they can just take one junior along with them. Or you can message people on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to your classmates, or best would be just go with your friends, have fun for the 24 hours. Just pick those friends who can actually maybe do something, maybe do some sort of contribution here and there, because you will learn on the floor. You don't know, you cannot just expect like if you're going for your first hackathon with your friends and then you'll be like, no, we have to win, we have to win, we have to win. If you're going with that, then not sure if it will work out, those 24 hours will work out for you. Rather go with a clear mentality that you want to do your best, no matter what the result is. Do your best, have fun with your friends. And I guess, yeah, there's if you're actually attending hackathons via various platforms like devfolio and hacker earth as well. Yeah, hacker earth as well. You can directly find teammates as well there. And unstop, yeah, unstop also lets you find teammates there and there, so people will approach you there, message you if you're free, can you join the team, or maybe you can ask people to join their team, etc., etc. So that is one way of having a team as well.
Understood, understood. So, once you have a team, and by the way, I totally agree, it is always better to take friends rather than, taking strangers who might have good skills, but again, there's no harmony. Without a harmony, eventually, it's not going to be a good experience for you. It's not going to be a learning experience. So, the best thing you could do is take friends who know even a little bit development will be much better than just being around strangers for 24 hours, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That will not be a
Because
good
you
thing
want
to
your
work out
24
with.
hours to be very smooth. Because I remember attending most of the hackathons, we used to just sit and laugh, even if you're not developing, even if you're unable to, we've just given up or something like that. We used to just sit and laugh. We did not used to just sit and cry. We because we have this was my own very group which I used to hang out with, whether be it in college or be it for hackathons as well. So I used to have fun with them. no matter what the situation was. So I guess that is why I was able to attend so many hackathons, and not even look back and think, yeah, why did I have to go so many hackathons? Did I regret something? So that is something I would say.
Hmm. Right, right, right. All right. So let's say you find the teammates, you get your friend group and all. Now the next part that people wonder about is how to find so many hackathon. And you have taken part in 20 plus hackathons. You've won 14 hackathons. So how is it that someone can find so many hackathons to take part in?
Okay, yeah. I guess yeah, this was something which I used to face as well because I used to see people attending so many hackathons. I used to like, where was this hackathon even listed? How did people even get to know this hackathon, etc. And this is something, yeah, I've received messages about this as well. My juniors have told me like, where do you find these hackathons, etc. So what I used to do in my third year, this is something I used to do in my third year. So I actually have an entire sheet here. So I pasted some whiteboard sheets here. So what I used to do, I used to go through a lot of platforms. I used to note down all the hackathons. So for the platforms, I would suggest the most uh, I would say the good platforms which you can actually look at are basically Unstop. Then you have DevFolio. You have Hacker Earth. Hacker Earth is mostly for online hackathons. In person, they just have the final rounds in person. So an online hackathon, you have Hacker Earth, and you have Hack to Skill as well. I attended a lot of out of Mumbai hackathons via Hack to Skill as well. And yeah, there are other platforms as well which even there are many platforms which even I am not aware of because I see so many people still going. And other than this, you can join a lot of WhatsApp communities. So our college had its own community, so people used to share events, except there was a group in that community regarding the events. So they used to share if there is any other hackathon being organized. They used to share because people are very secretive about hackathons sometimes. They might not share because they'll think they'll just increase the competition by sharing it to other people as well. So that is the one mentality as well. So I would suggest you do your own research rather than relying on others. Start looking for platforms, and just take a day, like just take 1 hour out of every day, every week, and just note down all the hackathons you can find. So what I used to do as well, I used to do the same. I used to just open all the tabs, be Unstop, Deforia, this. I used to look at, okay, what is the deadline for this? Can we go for this? Is it in Mumbai or not? If it's outside, what are the timelines for this? And then I used to just jot down here for each and every hackathon. So like this is the submission date, deadline date, and go through each and every platform I could find, be it Hack to Skill, Devfolio, Unstop. I would suggest Unstop is the one where you'll find tons of hackathons, but you just have to look at the details as well because there are multiple scams as well. Because people just organize hackathons and then they never respond to that, and then you will just confuse ki, like what just happened with you. So make sure you go through proper platforms, certified platforms, and join a lot of communities. WhatsApp communities are the best way, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right. And all of the websites that he has mentioned, we'll be putting them in the description box. So make sure that you check them out from there. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the technical stuff because obviously you go into the hackathons and there is the hackathon, right? That you have to build things, you have to build features, you have to many times do things that you have no idea about, right? So let's say before going into the hackathon, what are the skills or tech stacks that you should learn to have the best shot at, clearing the hackathon? For example, let's take your case only. So before you went into some of the more like main hackathons, what were the skills or tech stacks that you had learned to be prepared for it?
Okay. If you guys are new, I would suggest rather than focusing on skills, just maybe get the experience first. Just attend a hackathon and don't focus so much on skills. Ki, like you should know this, that, etc., etc. Next आना चाहिए, ये आना चाहिए, वो आना चाहिए. I wouldn't really suggest that for the newcomers, firstly, and so for the others, I would say like people who have already attended hackathons, etc. For you, I'll say, ki, firstly, which skills are important? You need good front end development, you need good back end development, you need somewhere if cloud is necessary, etc. If you want to just optimize your solution, etc. And ML, because even if you look at the domains, the themes which the hackathons are divided into, it's mostly just this. It's either web development, app development, cybersec, or it will be AI/ML entirely. So for me, when I was attending hackathons at the very start, I just barely knew some sort of front end development. And since I was a data science student, I had some familiarity with ML. So for my first two hackathons, I was mostly focusing on the ML part. But as the as time progressed, I started getting more to front end development. So then we started dividing. So like I used to handle a lot of front end development. My other teammates used to handle the app development, and we had a back end developer as well. So most prior, you can basically prioritize mostly on a good front end developer, a good back end developer, because you need to make sure you have a good front end, a good UI, and you need to have a good backend as well. You cannot just make the website static and then be like, okay, we did this, but none of it is functional. So you need good backend development and ML as well. So ML is, I guess, at this point, when I was attending hackathons at the very start, ML wasn't really that, people weren't really that focusing on ML based themes, ML this, that. But now, at this point in 2025, ML is a must. If you're attending hackathon, you need to have a ML developer in your team, because even if you're not going into that ML wala theme, you can add extra features by saying, okay, we applied this, that, etc. Gen AI part, etc. So for that, I would say you need a good ML developer as well. And for the skills, front end, the skills you can, even if you want, you can do good UI in HTML, CSS, and JS. That is more than enough. You do not have to build an entire product, but React would be a good plus. And I was recently working with Next for the past two hackathons. Before that, I used to work with React and Material UI most of the time, because it gives you templates directly and makes your work easier. For backend development, you can either go with Django if you're building an entire backend framework. If you're just wanting to build some certain APIs, you can just use Flask. And people can. I've seen people use Rust as well, but I'm not aware of of how entirely Rust works. So I never had hands-on practice with Rust as well. And for ML, you can learn PyTorch, TensorFlow, Keras, so many ML libraries, etc., which you can, maybe refer and learn. So yeah, I would suggest that. And for cybersec, I would say I remember I had only attended one in the cybersec domain. So even there we had to apply ML as well. So even though the domain was cybersec, we were mostly applying ML as well. For if you're mostly focusing on into cybersecurity, I would suggest you all go into CTS rather than hackathons, because if your major focus is with respect to cybersecurity, if your domain is cybersecurity, if you're learning cybersec, I would suggest you all go more for CTS rather than hackathons, because I've attended only one CTF, which we had one. So I would say, yeah, for the cybersec people, go for CTFs, and for the rest of you who want to attend hackathons, you know the rule: front end, back end, AIML, etc. And yeah, cloud is also good. Cloud, you can utilize a lot of AWS in your solutions, because uh, it really helps somewhere to optimize your solutions if you're wanting to host your APIs, this and that, or if you're wanting to use the models or bots as well. I would say cloud as well somewhere can help you.
Hmm. Okay, so a lot of things, but
A lot
the
of things.
main thing is that, huh, the main thing is that obviously the first thing is to take the experience, and obviously you'll also learn as you go.
Yeah, rather than just focusing on ki I need a particular skill before attending a hackathon, go and attend a hackathon first and live that experience. And that is where you will wonder ki like, okay, ये बनाने के लिए क्या लगना चाहिए. मतलब if it's a first or second hackathon, you will automatically learn and understand कि हाँ ये बनाने के लिए ये लगना चाहिए. Rather than focusing on मैं पहले React सीखूंगा फिर ही hackathon जाऊंगा. I would say no to that. कि नहीं, don't do that.
Hmm. Right, right, right. And speaking more on learning on the fly or learning in hackathons, obviously all hackathons are not the same. Many hackathon will ask you to build different features. Many hackathon will ask you to use different tech stack. So do you get time to learn on the hackathon or learning on the fly? How often is that? You have to go into the hackathon, then learn and then build it.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, learning on the fly is actually very important, because you cannot just be prepared for each and everything, because you never know what problem statement you're gonna get. Because if you're attending the normal 24 hackathons which are organized in Mumbai, what they do is they do not give you a problem statement. When you reach there, they will shuffle and put you in a particular problem statement. They can put you in web dev according to the priority form which you fill. Most of the hackathons here in Mumbai, that is how they take place. So that is when you'll be like, okay, you don't know what domain you're going to get into. So, for example, if you're a team which has only front and back end developer, and suddenly you're getting put into AIML, what will you do? You will have to learn on the fly at that time. So, learning on the fly is very essential, I would say, and that is something we did as well. So, my very first win, I remember we went to Atharva College. So, we got put into app development. We were like, okay, what do we do? I'm a front end developer. My other teammate is a back end developer, and we had two app developers who were working on the app. We were like, what do the two of us do? Do we just sit and watch them develop, or maybe you can just contribute? So I remember I just went to YouTube, I searched for a Flutter tutorial, and I started watching it. And we were like, okay, I was like, I can help you all build one or two screens somewhere or the other. So I remember I saw 6 hour entire Flutter tutorial then and there itself in the hackathon, because from the start I did not have really anything to contribute at the very start. So I started, watching the entire Flutter tutorial. Then after, I remember it was evening, and that is when I was like, okay, now I'm ready, I can help you all. So I remember I built two screens for them as well. So learning on the fly is very essential. I guess, yeah, also I just forgot to mention this previously, and the skills and tech stack as well. And if you're focusing on app development, you can, learn Flutter as well. It really helps you build good solutions if you're building cross platform solutions. So like a solution which can work on iOS as well as the Android as well. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this in the previous point, but yeah, this is something.
Hmm. Understood, understood. All right. So, let's say that you just entered a hackathon with your team. So, can you tell us briefly what goes on in that 24 hours, right from start to the end? Like, what all goes down in that?
Okay. I'd like to state my personal experience with this, because if you will follow a particular timeline, the timeline would be mostly like you do ideation, you do planning, you sort of fix your idea, you plan how you'll be developing your features, you do development, and then you polish your product, and then you pitch it out. That is how a basic flow should be if you're going to develop. But for us, it used to be like, so for the first 2 hours, we used to just sit, brainstorm on the solution. We used to take, I remember we used to get diaries. So we just used to take a diary, and we used to ourselves draw the entire screen. Like, this will be the entire screen. We need this here, that here. We need this feature here, that feature here. What will go into the sidebar? यहाँ पे क्या होगा? ये क्या होगा? क्या feature होने वाला है? कैसे होने वाला है? How will it connect the backend? कैसे communication होगा? क्या होगा? वगैरह वगैरह. So I remember 2 or 3 hours we used to make sure, because you need to polish your idea very well. There's a saying as well, if you're getting so many hours to, if you're getting 10 hours to cut a tree, you'll basically spend it polishing your polishing your axe, and then start cutting it. So I would generally suggest, for the first 2 hours, take your time and polish your idea as much as possible, because once you have a clear vision of what you're wanting to build, development becomes much more easier, rather than, if you just have a vague solution कि development ये management system बनाएंगे, किसका बनाएंगे, क्या बनाएंगे, कैसे बनाएंगे, rather than going with the flow, बार बार reiterate करो ideas. Just have a, good clear vision, and then maybe reiterate ki, like, okay, you can then after some time you can, add features, remove features here and there, but make sure you have a clear vision at the very start. First 2 3 hours you can spend on doing that. Then start developing, obviously. Divide your task accordingly. You need to make sure ki uh, the respective individuals have their own task, given to them. If there's someone who's a leader in the group, delegates the task accordingly. And even if you can just, share the task amongst yourself ki, like, okay, if you have two front end developers, one will do this page, one will do that page. The back end developer will do his job. He will start, creating the APIs. He will start creating the database schema, etc. If there's people working on the app, they will start working on the task as well. So for the next 4 5 hours, we used to just work. And the moment 6 or 7, the moment the watch hit 6 or 7, that is when we used to just go for a stroll, no matter where we are, whether we are in another city, we are in our college itself. We used to just leave the premises, we used to go for a walk, and we used to go for like half an hour walks. So we used to just go out, get some munchies for ourselves, and come back. Even though we used to get lunch, so firstly, for the people who are going to hackathons, you get free food. Best thing. So even though we used to just go out for strolls, we used to get some munchies for ourselves. We used to go for walks so that we have a clear mind, and then we used to come back, and then they usually do the dinners early, so like around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So once you're done with your dinner, that is when we used to just sit and we used to think like, okay, what all features are done, what all features are left, and just before 11 you can just maybe decide on what features are left, what you have to do, so that you can maybe fix a timeline, because the submission is mostly on the next day around in the morning, early morning, 10 11 9 10 o'clock. So that is when you basically have to plan it out, key what you want to focus on right now, and which features you want to prioritize right now rather than that. And then getting some sleep as well. So maybe you can sleep in cycles. So what you used to do is, firstly, Two members will be sitting and developing. The rest of the two will go and rest for some time, maybe for an hour or so. And then when they come back, the other two will go and sleep for some time as well. So you can do that as well. And the moment you're done with sleep, you're done with development. In the morning, you need to make sure that okay, if things are going right as well. Uh, do you have the solution ready? Which features are missing, etc. And then you have to polish a solution in order to make it visually appealing to the judges as well, because you need to pitch your product. And the end of the day, it's you become an entrepreneur when an hackathon ends. You have to pitch your product because you have to win. So for the last 2 3 hours, you need to focus maybe on the presentation, polishing your product, etc., etc., and breakfast. So yeah.
Hmm. All right. And speaking a bit more into the presentation, because people are more aware about building the product, but obviously the presentation is also a great part of it, an important part of it, right? So how is it that you can make the, most amazing presentation that will blow the mind of the judges?
I guess yeah, presentations are actually a key point when you're pitching a solution. So if you're attending some hackathons, they will either ask you presentation in the round one. If you're attending those 24-hour hackathons, they will not directly ask you for a presentation, but you make sure if you're going for the final round, you have a presentation ready not to show to the judges. You can just with a demo, live demo for the judges as well. So I'll actually show you some demos, PPT presentations, I feel, which will be beneficial for the users as well. You all can see as well, okay, how you can maybe, these are just some examples. Obviously, you can twist and turn around, make changes according to you, etc. So I'll just show you. So firstly, I'll show you for the ones we used to submit for round one. Just show it to you. Okay, so this was the Idea Hackathon, which was organized by Union Bank, Ministry of Finance, along with KJ Somaya College of Engineering. So if you can see, the first slide mostly goes around the intro, proposed solution, what is the problem. So firstly, whenever you're starting a presentation, you need to mention the problem statement which you're dealing with and what are the problems there. So like if you're dealing with this, what are the problems which are usually faced, as you can see. For identity fraud, this is the problem, this is the problem, and then what is your proposed solution for that. So what features are you planning to build, etc. And then maybe include a flowchart, or a swim lane diagram of how your solution is entirely working, a user flow diagram as well, that could work as well. So you can maybe demonstrate that as well. And then your benefits of your solution, the USPs of your solution, which is the most important part, I would say, because when you're in a hackathon, you need to make sure your product stands out as compared to the others. So you need to share your benefits of your solution, the USPs of your solution as well. Then maybe you can put about the potential impact, how maybe this can become more than just a project, how this can become a product, and what are the other benefits, the advantages, the feasibility of the solution as well. Because the judges, when they ask you, they will always look, is this feasible or not? Because you can develop a very high end product, but if it's not feasible, if it's not viable, then there's no point. So you need to mention that. And what are the challenges you overcame while building this entire solution? That is something you can focus on as well. So yeah, this was the first. And maybe business model as well. So it's not compulsory every time to introduce a business model, but maybe you can show your entrepreneurial side here and maybe pitch it like that, so that even the judges are impressed at sometimes. They're like, you have your mind state, you know what to do and how you can maybe scale this to a product entirely. So that gives you a bonus and cookie points as well. So this is one I would show you, and I'll just show you another one. This is for the Karnataka State Police Datathon. If you can see the same flow, briefing, the problem overview, the proposed solution, the features which you're planning to build. You can also add a slide about the tech stack you're planning to use. Then what is architecture design? What is the user flow? Diagrams related to that. For USPs of your solution. Some demo images as well, if you're planning, if you can add some Figma images, or if you've already developed and you just have to submit a PPT along with that, so you can do this as well. And some description, etc., demo video. And finally, I'll just show. Okay, I guess I missed. Okay, yeah, other than this, you can also, if you're going for the final round, rather than showing this entire PPT, what you can do is maybe introduce videos here. If you're trying to show a live demo, if you have recorded some videos for a particular feature, you want to show it feature wise. Just give me a second, I'll show you that as well. Okay. So this was recently we went to Code Shastra. So we were basically doing a live demo along with a PPT. So what we did was we just introduced the more majority features which we are planning, and then we started directly with the demo along with that. So if you can see, we were explaining our features with the help of a demo, since you basically get a very less time for the pitching round. So you can just pitch according with the demo. So you can show the dashboard, you can show your features which you're planning. Each and every feature you can just put a video of how it's exactly working, and then show some diagrams regarding that as well, and maybe add if you're going for the final round, add live demo or maybe add videos. If it is a first round, you can follow that same flow: the problem overview, introduction, more description, USPs, architectural diagram, benefits, etc.
Hmm.
Yes, that is it.
All right, man. Amazing. Amazing that you actually showed some real world, real life scenarios that you yourself have taken. So really believe that will be
Because I
helpful
feel
for
this
many
will
other
help a
students.
lot of people who are actually planning to get into hackathons, because a lot of people usually get rejected in the first round itself when it comes to the ideation phase, and everyone is wondering like, what should a PPT be like exactly? So I guess this can maybe help some people, and I would be really glad if it does help people. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. So, one thing that again, a lot of people that stops a lot of people from going into hackathons is that it becomes a bit difficult to manage so many things. You're in college, you have to manage your academics, you have to manage your studies, exam, you have to look for internships, placements, you have to prepare for that, and then you have hackathons. So it becomes a bit difficult to manage all of these things, right? So how did you manage so many things at once, especially 14 hackathons winning? How did you manage?
Yes, yeah, it becomes a very tedious at some point, if you have too many priorities on your head. So I remember at one point I was juggling my internship, my academics for the fifth and sixth semester, and so many, and every weekend. There was a point where we were almost attending hackathon every weekend. So in Mumbai, there was so if you typically consider Feb to March, Feb, March, and April, this used to be the hackathon season. So every weekend in some or the other college, there used to be a hackathon, be it DJ Sanghi College, be it Thadumal Shani College, be it Atharva College, so many colleges in Mumbai, and everyone. And at this point, every college wants to have a hackathon. Every department wants to have a hackathon. Every club and committee wants to organize a hackathon. So there are a lot of opportunities there, which is a positive point. But then again, it becomes a tedious as well, because then you have 5 days of college or work, and then attending hackathon. So for me, what I used to do, I used to just plan it out, as I had mentioned previously. I used to just plan it out. So what we had decided that we'll go for two hackathons in a month, max to max two hackathons, so that we get 2 weekends to ourselves as well. Because otherwise it would be like we're attending 5 days of office, everyone, because others had my teammates had internships as well to attend to. So there used to be like 5 days of work going for a hackathon, and they did not used to get time at home. And they had other priorities as well, to manage as well. So what we used to do, we used to decide on two hackathons for a month. And for me, I had to balance an internship as well at that time. But so I would say I was lucky somewhere that I did not have to go office 5 days a week. It was 2 days from office and 3 days work from home. So it was kind of relieving for me. But I'm not sure if everyone would have that liberty as well. So I would generally suggest you shortlist some hackathons rather than going for each and every hackathon you see. Just yeah, shortlist some hackathons and make sure it does not affect your academics. I know. I would just like to share experience. So what we did was we got selected for a hackathon in Delhi. This was in Jan 2023, and I remember it was between the final round was between our final exams, and we were actually so much into the hackathon. We were like, okay, we'll go. So we finished our exam. We took a train and then we went. So basically, I finished my exam on the I don't remember the dates exactly. So I finished my exam. We went to Delhi. We reached Delhi the very next day. We attended 24 hours there. And the moment the hackathon ended, we left there. We took a train. We came back here, and the next day I had an exam. So I would genuinely go against that. Like, do not do that. Yeah, we were just very new to hackathon. So we were like, okay, let's go. Why not? Exams होते रहेंगे. Hackathon, पता नहीं chance मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा. Don't do that. You will get a lot of chances. Make sure you do not let things affect your academics in any way, because people will say CGPA does not matter, does not matter. But when you come to your fourth year, when you for your placements, you will realize how much your CGPA matters. I mean, I wouldn't say ki like maintain a 9.5 or maybe an absolute 10 wala GPA, but try to be that 8.5 ke upar wala GPA. So make sure you balance your academics. If you have an internship, make sure you do not let it affect your work as well, because just to win hackathons, you cannot let go of a PPO opportunity while internships.
Definitely.
Do not do that.
Right, right, right. Obviously, that is something that you need to be careful of. All
Yes.
right. So, you know, for you personally, what do you feel is the most challenging part of a hackathon that someone should be prepared for? Someone should look, you know, someone should be prepared for basically mentally. So, what is it that you feel is the most difficult part of a
I
hackathon?
guess if I would say this for people, like if for me, I guess, I mean, I wouldn't say for me, but for people who are getting new into hackathons, I mean, what something challenging they might face is the timeline, managing an entire thing in 24 hours. Because I know most of the people who are starting to get into hackathons are first year students, second year students, third year students. Managing entirely it in 24 hours, making sure your team is gelling up properly, building the entire solution in 24 hours, I guess that is the most challenging statement for people, I would say, because building an entire product right from scratch, if you just got a problem statement and then you start one day, because 2 3 hours you're just brainstorming about the solution and then you start getting into development. You cannot people will say like it's nuts to develop everything in 24 hours, because I talk to a lot of non-tech people around me. So I know they just tell me like, how do you do it in 24 hours? I'm like, at this point I am used to it, because I am very into those fast paced development scenarios. So for me it has become a norm at this point, but for people who are still new, they'll be like, okay, how do you manage entirely in 24 hours? I guess that is a challenging part, and in order to overcome that, I would generally suggest you maintain a timeline during hackathons, and you take breaks as much as possible, because you need to make sure your brain does not overcook, and you get sleep, some sort of sleep, at least before the hackathon. Make sure you come with a good mind, sleep fulfilled, rather, if even if you don't get to sleep in the 24 hours, so you can do that as well, and delegating tasks accordingly, and then combining and showing the solution and putting your best effort, rather than regretting after the end of the hackathon, like, oh, you were not able to give your best, etc. Even if you don't win, it's okay, but if you try to give your best, I guess that should be more than enough.
Okay, so we've discussed about, your entire hackathon journey, how you came to winning 14 hackathons. We've discussed about the team, we've discussed about the skills, pretty much everything. So, in a nutshell or on a final note, to all of the people who are watching this video who also want to, win hackathons and win different opportunities via hackathon, what advice and tips would you like to give them?
Okay. Final advice, I would like to keep it short. Okay. So, basic things: solve a real problem, I would say. Make sure you choose a winning problem statement out of all those available. Keep it simple. Make sure your solution is, even though it might have 100 features, but make sure it is simple. Rather than focusing on the 100 features, make sure you have two working features which you can demonstrate in a much more better manner. Pitch it like pitch it like an entrepreneur. Pitch it like a story. Make sure you're able to explain the user flow of how people will be using your entire product, entire solution, and enjoy the journey, man. Just enjoy those 24 hours. Enjoy the entire hackathon process, and make sure you just start to attend hackathons, and don't stay back and think like, okay, should I go for a hackathon? Stop asking yourself, should I go for a hackathon, and start asking, which hackathon should I go for now? Yeah, just go for it, man. Just go for it. Don't be afraid. Just go and have fun. जीते जीते हारे हारे वो सब फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Make sure you go and attend hackathons.
Hmm. All right, that's some amazing advice, man. I think we've covered a lot of important points today. A lot of things that will actually help many students who are watching this video, and I feel also it will motivate a lot of people to go into hackathons because, like we discussed, a lot of people are hesitant to go into, right. So I really hope that the people that are watching this video take his advice, take Shivam's advice, and go out there, win hackathons, take part in hackathons, and build experiences. That's what life is about, right? You don't want your college or life 3 4 years to be just nothing to be there. You want some good experiences, you want some good learnings to be there. So yeah, I think Shivam was able to beautifully explain everything in grave details and extreme details. So thanks a lot, Shivam, for coming on my channel and sharing these wonderful tips,
I
right?
would say thank you to you. Yeah, thank you to you as well for actually giving me this chance to speak, because I remember I'm still unable to answer a lot of people regarding hackathons, because you do not always get the time, to explain the entire journey,
Right.
etc., and help them entirely. So I guess this should help a lot of people, and really hope it does help a lot of people. So yeah, thank you so much for
Uh,
this.